Success. A commonly thrown around buzzword, success is an ideal that undergirds American values. There's all different types of success: personal, economic, in your education, and more. The traditional viewpoint of gaining success goes something like this. First, you identify a goal. Then, you set a path towards that goal. And then you stick to that path as much as you possibly can until you win. But today, I'm going to challenge that concept. I'm going to be talking about a different method of gaining success, one that's not as stratified or binary as the traditional viewpoint. It's called maximizing your surface area of serendipity. It's changed the way I viewed success, and I hope it can change yours too. Okay, so first let me break this down a little bit. First of all, what is serendipity? Well, serendipity is defined as the occurrence or development of events in a way, by chance, that is happy or beneficial to you. In other words, it's luck. Now, you may be a little bit confused here. How do you maximize your luck? Isn't the whole point of luck that you can't control it? Well, not quite. The whole point behind maximizing your surface area of serendipity is that if you maximize your interaction with the people, events, and groups that are related to your goal, you're putting yourself in a situation where you're most likely to encounter new opportunities by chance with these new people. Finally, there's one big assumption that we have to make in order for this concept to work. We have to assume that there are definitely sufficient opportunities out there in the world for you to take advantage of. You just haven't found them yet. Maximizing your surface area of serendipity is undoubtedly going to change your journey to success. We have a common perception of success, which is that if we work the hardest or work the longest, we can brute force beat our competition. But this concept isn't about that. It's about engagement. Engaging the most with the people and the opportunities that you can tap into that are related to your goal is how you maximize your surface area of serendipity. And it bends the traditional method of success that we all think about every day. This is really what's so interesting about the surface area of serendipity as a concept. It provides a whole new worldview on what success means and how we can attain it as individuals. Okay, so first let me get into some hypotheticals to discuss what I'm really talking about. This is Jamie. Jamie is a biology major in college, and she wants to find the function of a new protein. Sure, she can spend hours and weeks reading articles and searching through databases to try and find as much information as possible. And you know what? She's probably going to be successful. In fact, she's probably going to get some really great recognition from her bio department. Great, right? Well, yes, but notice how it's going to take her so much time and effort to achieve her goal. What if Jamie was able to perform at the same level without simply grinding out as much work? Let's say that for 1 week, just 1 week, instead of spending that week in the computer lab reading articles and searching through databases, she spent that week attending a conference across the city with other biologists and experts in protein function. Then what if, among these new people, she was able to learn knowledge and gain access to resources that you can't get from an online PDF or a textbook? In this way, Jamie is able to learn more knowledge about protein function and gain access to new resources simply by putting herself in the line of fire of people who have achieved her goal and know a lot about what she wants to do. This is what maximizing your surface area of serendipity actually looks like. Similarly, let's say that Jack is an aspiring musician in New York City. Jack just graduated music school, and now he's another dot in the vast sea of aspiring musicians all wanting to become great. Jack knows that simply making music and putting it out there is not sufficient. He needs a way to distinguish himself. So, let's say that Jack contacts dozens of other musicians around the city and tries to set up a meeting. Let's say that just one of these dozens of individuals actually respond to him and he does get a meeting. From this person, Jack is able to learn what it takes to succeed in the New York City music industry. He's able to learn what it takes to distinguish yourself from everyone else. In this way, Jack acquires the knowledge he needs to separate himself from the pack simply by reaching out to other people that are successful, that have achieved his goal, simply by putting himself out there. In each of these hypotheticals, the person of interest veered from the traditional method of gaining success. With Jamie, instead of simply grinding out work and putting in as many hours as she could, she contacted the other individuals, the other experts that knew what she wanted to do and had the resources to help her. Similarly, with Jack, instead of just making music and hoping that one song would be his big break, he reached out to the other successful musicians and learned what it took to actually achieve his goal. Again, I really want to emphasize this is what maximizing your surface area of serendipity looks like. Over the past year, I've had to come to terms with my own surface area of serendipity. With the COVID pandemic, like all of you, I was really stuck at home. Schools were closed, we couldn't really go anywhere, and so we found ourselves relegated to our phones and computers. Finding myself held up in my room for over 10 hours a day, I thought back to this idea of the surface area of serendipity. Maybe with all this new time on my hands, I could manifest my own interests in a meaningful way. Ever since I was a freshman in high school, I've been captivated by the field of computational biology. Computational biology is a field that basically describes the intersection of computer science with biology. I never really had the time to look into it, but I figured that with all this time on my hands, maybe I could maximize my surface area of serendipity in computational biology. So, I set out. I started reading articles, watching YouTube videos, taking online courses, and making small computer programs that progressively got more and more complex. But undeniably, the most important thing I did was actually to join Slack groups. For instance, I joined a Slack group of researchers in Peru that were trying to create a machine learning-based software to help head trauma patients. After talking with them through Slack, which is a messaging platform, through email, and even joining in on some of their Zoom calls, I felt that I had a much better grasp on machine learning software because I talked to the people who created machine learning software. In fact, I felt I had such a good grasp that I tried to pursue a project of myself. Ever since then, I have pursued a couple of independent and group-based research projects that have received some recognition. But every day, I'm still looking for more opportunities to tap into and people to engage with to further increase my surface area of serendipity in computational biology. I'm currently on a journey of maximizing my surface area of serendipity, but there's still a lot of work that I have to do. Even though I'm still on my journey, there's a couple of really important things that I've learned so far that I want to share with you guys. The first is the importance of internet activity. In the modern world, the internet is really an explorer's best friend. There's mass amounts of information, all collectivized at the tip of your fingers. In fact, some of the most prominent figures in our world today, such as Elon Musk, have said that no longer do you really need a college degree or professional experience to learn a skill in depth. You can use the internet. So, the first step of maximizing your surface area of serendipity is to use the internet. Do your research, read and consume as much as you can, and I guarantee that will help you achieve the goal you're striving for. Although, there's another thing that's closely intertwined with, and in my opinion, more important than the internet, and that's social media. I'm not just talking about platforms like Instagram or Snapchat, but I'm also talking about Slack, Reddit, email, cold calling, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it, anything. The great thing about social media is that now you can find really any type of person and learn from them. For example, let's say you want to learn more about business. Now you can use social media to contact professional business mentors and even business leaders themselves to learn from what they say. This is really the most important thing here. It's communication. Learning firsthand from the people who have achieved your goals or know a lot about your goals is going to give you the context you need to achieve those same goals. And so one of the most important things to do is to use social media. Now, a lot of people will counter this by saying, experts have better things to do than to talk to random strangers on the internet, right? There's really nothing in it for them. But surprisingly, I don't really think this is true. For example, in my field, in the scientific field, some of the most popular scientists today, such as Donald Knuth and Gordon Moore, have openly said that they love sharing their expertise with other people, really with anyone who wants to listen. In my opinion, though, this points to a deeper human phenomena. People with knowledge like to share that knowledge. It's interesting, it's satisfying, and honestly for them, it's probably flattering. So you as an individual should take advantage of this phenomena. Contact and learn from the people that have achieved your goals or know a lot about them so that you can maximize your surface area of serendipity. That being said, it's reasonable to be afraid of contacting a lot of these experts on the internet. After all, for most of our lives, we were advised against talking to strangers online, right? But again, remember that people with knowledge want to share that knowledge. It's up to you to contact them first. So I would argue, don't be afraid. Do that cold call, send that email, join that Slack group, follow that expert on Facebook, do whatever you need to do. Just contact the people who know about your goals so that you can learn from them and know what it takes in a practical setting to achieve those goals. Looking forward, I encourage all of you in the audience today to think about your own surface area of serendipity. Do you have an itching goal in the back of your head? Have you been meaning to find a purpose, but you can't really place your finger on it? Good. Really good. Explore, experience, investigate, and maximize your surface area of serendipity. Thank you very much.